Ali, good to see you. Anita, David, Donna, good to see everybody's faces. I love that. So before we get into content that converts, I have a question for you all. And if you guys can help me out in the chat, we're going to go through this together, okay? How many of you guys believe that every one of you has a brand? Like you're personal, you are a brand. Put yes in the chat if you believe that you are a brand to some degree. Put yes. Okay. Now, if I went to you, this is just kind of a thinking point. If I went to you right now, what kind of brand do you let off? And this is kind of a rhetorical thing, right? This is kind of yeah, Anita's already laughing. She's like, "Dang it, I'm always on the boat." You see what I mean? And I say that because a brand, for lack of a better words of it, is just, well, I mean, it's the only words I can kind of think about, is brand is associations. Associations. How do people associate you? How do people associate you? And when I'm going to be talking about content today, it's really a means to an end. You guys probably
Control S किधर गया?
someone's muted, unmuted. You guys will probably imagine that I'm not too much of a, putting out a lot of content, but when I do put out content, I have a purpose behind the content. When we put out content, there's a purpose for the content. There's always a strategic purpose for the content, and that's what I believe is a really, really good way to approach your marketing, because a lot of you guys right now are stuck with marketing, and you're like, I don't know how to market myself. I don't know what I should put out there. I don't know. How many of you guys feel like that right now? You're kind of like, I want to do things, I just don't know what the things are. Put me in the chat if that's you. I want to start doing things, I just don't know what things I should be doing. If that's you right now, then I can tell you that this content, the thing that we're going to be talking about today, is very impactful for you, because it's going to give you a start. It's going to give you a framework to work within, so that way you're not confused. That way you're not feeling like lost all the time with what should I post? How should I post it? And I love covering frameworks. I love covering frameworks because if I give you too much of the tactics, you get too stuck in the weeds. Strategy is the best way to grow your business. Strategy. You guys know that. You guys are tax strategists. You should know that better than everybody else. And so I want to share with you strategies so that you can put your own mix to it. Yes, I'm going to give you some real detailed stuff, tactical things, but more than anything else, I want you to think about the strategy, the idea, the framework, the mentality to approach content, so that when you do these things, you're not feeling like lost. You're not feeling like you're left behind. You're not feeling like it's not working, or whatever the case may be. So, before I get into the content that converts, I want to know, what questions do you guys have about organic marketing? Organic marketing. What questions do you guys have about this specifically? So I know, if maybe I don't cover it right now in the presentation, I can ensure I answer the questions after. So, what questions do you guys have? You can put in the chat. What's the best type of content to generate? Does it convert? How fast? I love that. Hear the term the first time. Okay. I love it. I love it. Organic. And what this basically means, organic, when I say organic, I mean not paid advertisement. You're not paying to go speak at an event. You're not paying to go, sponsor an event. You're not paying for those things. You're not paying for an employee. You're not paying. Those are all paid things, right? That's what I interpret organic. Now, in the private equity world, they consider organic is not an investment firm, meaning someone that comes in and injects money into your business. That's what the difference in the term there. But organic for marketing, I say it's not paid. So, good questions here. I'm gonna keep throwing your questions in the chat, because if I don't cover it throughout the presentation, I want to make sure that I can cover it after, because I want you guys to be able to understand and use this information, not just get the information and not use it. Okay. So, good questions. I'm going to go through them. How many of idea just need to execute? Okay. Have many ideas, just need to execute. What's the best type of content to create? Does it convert? How fast? Heard the term for the not a clue. How to increase engagement, followers, LinkedIn posting, adding targeted industries. Okay. Is there an AI tool you can help with? Okay. I love it. I love it. Please give suggestions or advice for those that don't know how to be on social media. All right. I love that. Okay. So I'll preface this by saying this. Okay. Content for me is a means to an end, meaning the only reason why we post content is just to confirm and convert. Confirm and convert. Before I get into the presentation part of it, I want you to know the context behind why you post content. Content in and of itself is confirming and converting. Okay, confirming and converting. Okay, confirm and convert. The whole purpose behind why we're doing content as tax strategists is just to confirm with your prospects that you are the most trusted advisor and convert their thoughts into money. Okay, how many of you have started cold marketing yet? Say I in the chat. If you have started, okay, how many of you have gotten the question, are you legit? Is this real? Is this a scam? If you've had that, that shows the lack of content that converts. Because the number one thing that your prospects, even in your current customers, if your current customers are giving you pushback, that means that you are not putting out enough content for them to see. And it doesn't have to be social media content. It could be you're not educating them from emails, you're not educating them with video trainings, you're not educating them with the stuff that they need so they can convert and confirm that what you're saying is true. That's why I say when I want you to understand the strategy here. The strategy here is I'm going to use content to confirm and convert prospects and current customers. It's the whole purpose behind why content is there. If you look at any of David's content, the whole purpose it's there for is to confirm what he's doing and to convert the eyeballs or earballs in this case, right? People are listening. So you guys should approach it in that sense. Am I confirming what I do, or am I converting someone into what I'm bringing them to the essentially into my network? Okay. So when I go through this, I want you to think through those thought processes. Am I confirming what I do? Right. And a prospect thinks about it this way. They think, who are you? Why should I care? Why should I listen? How are you different? That's what your prospect is thinking. By the way, your current customers are saying that. Your current customers are saying, you've been doing tax prep for so long. Why is this different? Why should I listen to you? Why is this important now? So it's in your best interest to start saying these things so that the sales become easy. Okay? I want sales to become easy for you guys so you don't have to come off as sleazy salesman or saleswoman. How many of you guys don't want to come off as sleazy? Put me. Tammy's like, no, not me, not me. Right? So the reason why people have to be hardcore salespeople is because they lack the marketing prowess. When you don't do good at marketing, you have to be good at sales. Do you guys get that? In a perfect world, I will answer all of Anita's questions before she ever comes to me so that when I get to a call, I'm taking an order. I'm not having to pressure close her. That's what you want. And that's what good content does. That's why I say when you're producing content, it's a means to an end. I'm trying to confirm what I'm doing, how I'm doing it differently, so that when I talk to Anita, when I talk to Rick, there's already a pre-frame. It's called a pre-frame, that when I talk, there's an association between me and what I'm about to offer. Does that make sense? And so I want you guys to think through this thought process because maybe you've been associating with essentially the wrong things for too long and it's hard to transition. I think that's probably the biggest reason why most people struggle with content is because they have so much of an association to something else. Like, for an example, tax season is open. That only appeals to people who are going to file the returns right now. It's great for tax returns. It's not great for business owners who want to save money on taxes. How do I know that? Yesterday, I was talking to a couple of my buddies, and they do 8 figures, 7 figures. A lot of the people I talk to do that now because we're in those networks now. And I was talking to him, and he was saying, "Dude, I paid $250,000 in taxes. It's like crazy." And I was messaging him, and I'm like, "Dude, it's highway robbery. How could you let them do that to you?" And he says, I did it, but I have a tax attorney, right? Anyone ever had that? I have a tax attorney and I have a bookkeeping firm. He told me that. I'm like, so let me ask you a question. You paid the IRS $250,000 for how long? 3 years. Okay. 3 plus years. And then I said, okay. And you're paying a tax attorney? Well, I asked them this question. Does anybody even help you with taxes? Like that. Does anybody even help you with taxes? So I put the seed of doubt. The seed of doubt. I put the seed of doubt. Okay. So I said, does anybody even help you with taxes? And he said, yeah, they have the tax attorney and the bookkeeping firm. And I said, okay, so you're paying $250,000 a year and you're paying them as well. Is that right? He said, yeah. And I said, so you're telling me you're paying the IRS, you're donating $250,000 to the IRS every year, and you're paying these people to help you pay $250,000 a year to the IRS. And I said it jokingly, I put the little haha at the end. And he goes, bro, I know it's so bad. He said, I don't know what I'm paying them for anymore. Boom, I know I hooked them.
Tax attorneys are after the fact.
Well, I mean, they don't know any different, right? High income earners know no different. They think a tax attorney, again, it's association. It's an association. The brand, the content of a tax attorney has been associated for so long that they can help you with taxes. They don't even know what that means for a high income earner. And so it's our job to produce the content in front of them so that we could say, without saying, that we are the best, most qualified people to help them. Does that make sense? Okay. So I love it. Love it. So maybe the positioning needs to just change there. And I love that. Okay. So let's jump right in to the content that converts. Okay. And if you guys have questions, just put them in the chat. I will open it up for Q&A at the end. But can you guys see my screen? You put yes in the chat. Love it. Are you paying the least amount you can pay? All right, cool. We'll give you some words that you can use, like little things that we've already shown to convert. But here's what really, when I talk about organic marketing, I talk about content that converts. Really, it's a strategic playbook for tax and financial professionals to build authority and revenue without the ads. Now, when you stack ads on top of content, oh my gosh, it explodes. Here's why I'll tell you contextually. We have a Thursday call that we do for anybody who's running paid marketing, and it's not a free service per se, but if you're in this program, we allow you guys to be a part of it. But you have to be paying for marketing, right? So if you're paying any marketing agencies or whatever, and you're running money on ads, we want you guys to be there because we just want to make sure that every dollar you put out, irregardless if you're spending it with us or not, that you're getting it back. Because the one thing I hate is like seeing money go out and never come back in. That's the one thing I hate. So that's part of it for there. But I have a small little group on Thursdays where I have this conversation with the advisors that are coming on here. And the one biggest change as far as how marketing works or not works is if they're producing content plus the ads. I'll give you a real interesting case study. We had someone just start paid advertisement. Okay. She's in here, and I think she's in here today. Her name's Purvi. Okay, Purvi had never run a paid ad in her life. Never. She's never talked to anybody besides people she knows. Everything's word of mouth. Everything's referrals. She started her ads. In 7 days, she got her first cold paying prospect for less than $500. That paid her $1,500. And I looked at that and I said, what's the difference here? 50 appointments within 3 weeks. That's crazy for less than $1,500. And if you guys don't know anything about paid marketing, that's really amazing. And I looked at it and I was analyzing what's the difference here. Well, she had posted some content on her page, whereas some other people that didn't get as fast results or as big or good results is they didn't have anything on their pages. They had nothing. And so that was the big difference between hers and theirs, was that hers had a little bit of content and it was all talking about results. It was all talking about case studies, all talking about how she can help people save money on taxes. And so when she did that, the marketing went just crazy. People are booking appointments and showing up and they're qualified, all because the content. So the content helps you convert. So I'm going to show you some examples here of this. Okay. So when I say content, content is the antidote to a commoditized market. How many of you have gotten a message from one of your clients that sends you a TikTok and says, "Can we do this?" They send you a TikTok of someone buying a G-Wagon. Maybe it's David's video they send you. And they say, "Can we do this? I heard that I could hire my kids for $15,000 a year. I heard that I can do this." How many of you guys have gotten that? I have done I have done that. Nonsense for most. Okay. How many of you are upset that that happens to you? How many of you get upset that that happens to you more often than you want to admit? I know I do, you know, but the problem with that is that they are producing content we're not. Those people that are sending out the bad information, even if it's bad, it's still new information to your client, which makes the seed of doubt come to you instead of the seed of doubt going somewhere else. So this is why it's the antidote to a commoditized market. In a world full of snakes and slimy people just trying to make content, this is how you separate yourself from the pack. Okay, this is what it does. Number one, it builds credibility. Okay, so content produces credibility, regardless of um, what kind of content. That's a little bit different here, but content in and of itself produces credibility. This right here, what I'm doing with you, is considered content. Think about that. It's considered content. Even though I'm not on social media doing that, I'm doing it here. So I'm producing content so that that way I can reinforce the education that you made a great decision. So maybe you guys should be thinking about this and say, huh, I'm not just listening to what he's saying, I'm going to do what he's doing. Maybe I should do some content for my internal customers so that they see that they made the right decision and they continue to make the right decision. Maybe you need to do some monthly webinars or quarterly webinars for your clients, free, just so you can produce content, so you can redistribute that information and help your customers more. This is how you multiply time. See, I could do this one-on-one with every one of you, or I can do it with 1 to 60 of you, and I can distribute the message much faster. Do you guys get that? So I'm trying to plant these things in your ears slowly but surely. Some of you will listen to it and say, "Oh, got it. I heard what I needed to hear. I'm good." Okay. Number two is accelerate sales. Imagine for a moment you heard me say all these things, and at the end I say, "Hey, look, by the way, there's an opportunity where I can take a couple of you to go to that next level. Who would be interested?" Some of you would say there's going to be a percentage where you say, "Tell me a little bit more. Tell me a little bit more." Now, of course, this is part of your delivery, so we're not doing that. But imagine for a moment, I'm putting out content, and I ask this question: "Hey, who wants to go to that next level?" It becomes simple, and now it's me who has to qualify you, not you qualify me. It changes the frame. So if you're begging for money, if you're begging for clients to pay you, it's probably because the position is wrong. They see you and perceive you as lower status than them. Do you guys see that? And that's why sometimes you get in a pricing fight. Oh, it's this price. No, I would pay this because the positioning is wrong. Okay, number three, it deepens the relationship. Now, this content right here, the reason why we have these coaching calls is so we deepen the relationship. I was talking to a someone that I've been going on this kind of journey to speak with a lot more people that are doing 8 figures and 9 figures a year. And I'm going on this kind of interview cycle where I'm interviewing all of them and finding out what the best practices at that next level to go to 8 and 9 figures per year. And I was talking to one of them, and he took his business in 4 years from zero to $33 million a year. Pretty big, right? And I said, what's going on here? Like, why did you shut it down? He shut it down after making $33 million a year, 100 employees, thousands of customers. You would think that's a great business, right? And I asked him a question. I said, how many clients are you getting new per year, per month? And he said, I'm getting about 500 new clients a month at $10,000 a piece. Okay, do the math real quick for my math people. Is that pretty good? It's pretty good, right? How many of you guys want 500 new clients at 10,000 a piece, right? Same here. I said the same thing, and then I asked him the question, why did you guys turn down the business? What happened with the business? And he said, well, when we went from 11 million to $33 million a year, our relationships with our customers fell apart. And so it instantly started to tell me, if your business is 80% of the revenue comes from new business in the first 30 in after 36 months of having your business, then something's wrong with fulfillment, which means the relationships have been lost somewhere along the way. And he said, we had to close down the business. And that happened to me too. This is why number 3 is so important, because the more you can produce content, the deeper the relationship, the more people stay and pay, which is ultimately the most beneficial part of a business, is if someone can stay and pay for a long term. And then number 4 is brand awareness, right? The more you speak, the more your brand is anchored into the beliefs of the people. So the more I speak on, by the way, the more I speak on marketing, the more I speak on business stuff, the more I speak on like scaling and things like that, the more your mind is anchored to, this guy knows what he's doing. And the more I do it, the cascade continues. The more I do it, the more you're like, okay, I believe what he's saying. So are you putting out content where the more you say, the more people believe? Does that make sense? Are you doing that right now? This is a question I'm asking everybody here. Um, you can choose to put yes or no, but let me see. Yes, Holly, there you go. Okay, not yet. Okay. So here's the 7 barriers why I see that most professionals stay silent. Okay. They fear looking stupid. If I showed you right now one of my videos, you would laugh your faces off. If I show you my first videos of me putting out content and telling things and saying things, you would laugh at me. If I showed you the content me and David were making back 6 years ago, you would laugh in our face. You'd say, there's no way I'd work with those people. No way. And I would agree. I would say, yeah, 100%. You would not work with us because at the time we had to do something strange for some change too, guys. We had to do some funny things to attract people, but we were attracting the wrong people. I remember a time where me and David were doing some ads and we were giving away a Super Bowl tickets. What a thought, right? Like we were doing giveaways to get people to come to us. We were giving away Super Bowl tickets. We were giving away a barbecue pit. We were giving away, it's so funny. One time we did ads, right? Because we were just trying to put out a lot of content, but we didn't realize what that content was doing for us. It was anchoring more of the wrong brand for us. It was anchoring the more of the wrong brand. And I remember one time we were doing a video. I was taking a video and I said, David, he goes, how do I give away this four-wheeler that I have? It was like a little mini four-wheeler, like for 10-year-olds. It was like for my son. It was like one of those four-wheelers that you see at Walmart. And I go, David, what if you ride it? I'll take a video of you. I wish I could find that video. But it's basically David riding a little four-wheeler and me recording him. And he's like, do you want this four-wheeler? It's so funny. But it's funny to look back now. Hindsight's 2020, right? But I didn't know what I'm telling you guys here is that we were solidifying to the marketplace that we were a gimmick. I don't know how many of you guys needed to hear that. We were telling the marketplace we were gimmicky. And so when we started to redistribute content now, look at how the content has shifted now. You see David's a professional. He does a lot of the content. Like a lot of these things is more anchoring for the higher tier because he knows that that's what attracts, right? And so now we have to redistribute the content, take off all the bad stuff, put on new stuff, and that's okay because that's habits. Another reason why I see a lot of professionals not want to do this is because they feel like they don't have the knowledge, and they feel this sense of imposter syndrome, right? And I see this a lot with CPAs. Now, the reason why I see it a lot with CPAs is because you guys see it a lot. Like, so you see the information so much that it comes second nature to you. And so when you see it so much that comes second nature to you, you're in the world of a bunch of other CPAs that are smarter than you. And so it feels like you don't know as much as them. And so because of it, you're afraid of their criticism, which is number three. You're afraid that if you say something wrong, they will criticize you. And what I will tell you guys today is that none of you are marketing to other CPAs. Although they're all your friends on Facebook or on LinkedIn, they are not your customers. So you got to know who you're marketing to so that that way when you produce content, it attracts the right person and repels the wrong person. Now, not to say your CPAs are bad or your CPA partners or financial advisors or anything that you have on your social media or even on your email list or even in your current customer list are bad per se. They're just not your customers. Like for an example, I see Diana posts a lot of things about content for NIL and NFL. That's great because what's going to happen is when someone sees her content, remember the confirm and convert thing. When they see her talking about that specific information, they're going to go look her up. They're going to go say, hey, who is she? And if she doesn't have alignment with that message, then they're going to say, I don't trust her because she's saying one thing and she's being another. And at that higher level, when you guys are working with people that pay you $20,000 to $50,000 a year, all they care about is alignment because money comes and goes for them. It's not hard to give you money. It's hard to trust you. Does that make sense for everybody? So this is why when I say when you're going into the tax planning world, it's a trust game. It's not a transaction game. You're not trying to transact, you're trying to get them to trust you. And the more you can talk about why people should trust you, the more that they do. That's how brand works. That's how the content that converts. Okay. And then sometimes, like we talked about earlier, some of you guys are unclear about the outcome. Why do I post this content? What am I going to get? What's the real outcome of this? Okay. Lack of time. Now, the lack of time, you can solve that by doing things like what I'm doing right now. See, I don't have the time to post the content, but I have the time to do this because I'm talking to you guys. Now, I can take this same content, chop it up a little bit, put it on YouTube. Now I have a YouTube video that can grow on its own. I can chop it up a little bit. I can send it to maybe an agency. They can edit little pieces here and there, and then they can post little reels on my Facebook or on my Instagram. So I'm not using any extra time. It's called net time. No extra time. You guys get that? Okay. So this is why when you're talking to your clients, Diana, Chantel, Rick, Anita, record them. And record them not because you need them now, but maybe you need it in the future. Because how many times have you talked to a client and you're like, that's a good one for people, everybody else? Like I'm giving some good content away right now. Have any of you ever felt that way when you're talking to a client and you're like, man, if other people heard this, they would buy this too. That's why you record it. It's not for right now, it's for the future. And so you almost have to have that little bank of recordings for when you need it. You can always tap into it. That's how you create this content machine. I'm not there yet, but that's how you create a content machine. Lack of inspiration. Inspiration, I have a struggle with inspiration. But you know how I overcome the inspiration thing? Here's how I overcome the inspiration thing. I ask you guys what you want, and then I give you what you want. That's it. So so if you're wondering how do we come up with content, we just ask you and then give it to you. So for an example, in the beginning, I asked you guys, what's your biggest challenge with content? All the questions you got, I'm either gonna address them or I'm addressing them as I go. And guess what? I'm gonna take those little snippets and then I'm gonna say that's the content. You see what I mean? So it's ask and then give. That's it. Okay, so the golden rule of value exchange for you guys. Now, this is a big challenge for everybody here because of this. You think that you don't want to give away free value because then they won't pay you. Now, I am on the assumption you shouldn't give them free value for the tax return and stuff like that because that is a paid service. Also for the tax plan, that is also a paid service because it's specific. It's orchestrated to them. But you can say something like, if this is what I help my client who made $250,000 a year, paid $250,000 a year. I use these three strategies for them. It's value, it's giving them the what and the why, but the how is what they're paying for. They're paying for the how, they're paying for the execution, they're paying for the implementation. Some of you guys see David talking about he should buy a G-Wagon. Now, does that apply for everybody? Absolutely not, right? Absolutely not. But he's saying the what, saving money on taxes, why, right? Why he bought that G-Wagon, and what it does for his taxes. And guess what? That attracts people into the messenger. And in the messenger, that's what he says, let's see if this can help you. It starts with an assessment. Do you see that? So he's giving away free value from the content. He's not saying, oh, well, if you do this, you do this, you do. It's not all that. It's really just the what and the why. The how is when people pay you, Raymond. Okay. And so what you do here is every content must serve its purpose. So I was again back to that the person I was talking to yesterday it was the day before or this week that was making $33 million a year. I said, what was like that big change? And he said, every everything I did needed to earn its place. So no purposeless content ever went out. No purposeless information went out. It was always orchestrated so that I can serve a purpose. And that's how he avoided complexity so that he can accelerate growth. Okay. I know I'm using big words. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. You want to maximize these assets. So, for an example, let's say hypothetically, Diana, you're working with a NFL player, and I'm giving you context so you guys can use this. So, I'm giving you little analogies and ways that you guys can use this for yourself. Let's say you're talking with someone and you say, okay, um, you right now you just got a big contract, okay? And that big contract, you're gonna have to pay 50% off of that because you live in California, right? What you can do is you can grab that same content, blur out the face of the person, and post it and say, I just showed a client how they can save $50,000 in taxes, and they just got a huge NFL contract. Who wants to check it out? Boom. Now I got the content running. I got the machine going. Now when someone comes to my account and they are an NFL player or they see me on Google, there's context there. And now it's confirming, oh, she works with people like me. Oh, okay. I trust her more. I trust. Listen to what I'm saying here in this 2026 world right now we live in. We're in a trust recession. Have you guys ever heard of that? We are in a trust recession. People, all-time trust is at the lowest it's ever been. Nobody trusts the government. Nobody trusts the recommendations. Nobody trusts the other people. We don't trust the information we even get because ChatGPT can pop it up. We don't trust it. Heck, you're probably thinking, I don't even trust Dan because I don't know if he's an AI. He talks like a robot. Right? And and so in the trust world, like lack of trust, content is so important and invaluable in that sense. Okay. So you want to give away as best advice as possible. Obviously, you want to withhold information like clients' names, specific details like that, but giving away information, there's no lack of information. I could chat GBT that information. The problem with those things is if I chat GBT the thing is I don't know if it's true or not. You do, right? So when your clients send you, hey, these are the three things I said I put into ChatGPT, is this true? And you're like, no, that's not true. Well, they're paying you for that expertise. That's why people pay you, is for the expertise. Hey, let's do an assessment. Let's figure out what's really true about all this stuff. Okay. So here's how you essentially optimize your prime real estate. If you all have a profile on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, on your email signature, anything like that. If you have things like that, please make sure you update this accordingly like this. Okay? A confused mind never buys. When I say something, you want to use your real name on everything. So, like for an example, don't put Mrs. Princess Fiona Charming. Don't put the head honcho of XYZ. It's the fastest way to lose trust with a high income earner because a high income earner doesn't want any. I'll give you a quick story about this. A couple of years ago, I was recommended. Okay, when someone refers you to something, you come kind of pre-framed and you're like, I trust this person entirely, right? Like if I refer Rick to someone else, he's going to say, okay, well, Dan's a trusted source. This person should be too. That happened to me. I had a trusted friend that I really trusted, and he introduced me to some guy that he did like a three-way text message with me. And I was speaking with the guy and I was asking him some questions. And then I said, "Hey, can we hop on a meeting? Can we talk about this a little bit more?" Because he was asking for a couple $1,000s. And I was like, I'm not just gonna give you a couple $1,000. I need to know a little bit more about you. So I look up this guy. The guy's profile doesn't have his real name, has a little cartoon character of himself on his profile. And then when I get on a meeting with him, he never showed his camera. Do you think I paid that guy any money? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So if all you get from today is just be yourself more, that's how people trust you. They don't trust a floating head. They trust people. They trust real people. Okay. Um, no joint profiles. It's another thing that could, if you do have this. Now, again, I'm talking about the personal profile, but still, people are still going to do it. They're still going to Google you, find you on because your profile is easy to find. If you're anywhere online, they're going to find you. And if you're nowhere online, that's even worse because that already puts up the trust barrier. If no one can find you, then I already lack trust. Does that make sense? Which is why it becomes harder to scale anything beyond word of mouth because nobody can find you. Even word of mouth, even if someone recommends you, they're still going to search you up. They're still going to look for you. And if they can't find you, it's already putting like, hold on, hold on, hold on. Let's just wait everything off. Let's not make any crazy decisions right here because it's almost like, why are you hiding? That's the feeling that your customers get. And again, it's a trust conversion. This is all about trust. And if you're going to put links to book a call with you, don't put 50 links. Again, you just want one thing. You want one thing to people do. Chat with me, book a call, do this thing, call my office. One thing, not a bunch of things. The more you put on there, the more people can scrutinize. Okay. Way too many options makes you look like a dabbler. You know, the one thing I used to look at some people's profiles and I would see like you're a CEO of 15 different companies. I'm already like, whoa, 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 whoa. It already is a red flag. Think about this. Watch it, look at it in real life. How many of you will hire someone? And think about it as an employee. Think about it through an employee. Would you hire someone that has 10 different jobs in the last 5 years? What is your first thought? Why the heck can't you keep a job? That's my first thought. Right? And I hire great people. I hire solid people. Um, right? All of us do now because we're in that trust recession. I need to see that you've done what you said you're going to do, and you've done it for some time. Okay. Here's some content. Okay. So building connections. I'm going to give you some things here. Here's some actual things here. You want to build connection to people. Okay. The content arsenal, building connection. So what you can do, here's three different things. Okay. Life posts, meaning if you just update people on your life, even in your emails, if you're communicating with clients, hey, the more you can humanize your brand, the more they trust you. Okay. Gone are the days where I get a message from a tax company and respond to it. No, I'm going to respond to the person inside of the tax company. I'm not going to respond to, so for an example, let's say hypothetically, um, Diana messaged me and she from an email and it says White Wolf CPA. I'm gonna be like, nah, I don't care too much about that. But if I see her email me, I'm gonna be quick to respond because I want to talk to a human being, as does everybody else. Okay. And so the more she can humanize herself, meaning the more she can make it seem like, hey, we are a boutique style. We are more community oriented. We are together. The more I want to do business with them because business people do business with people, not with businesses. I hope you guys get that in 2026. Okay. Inspiration. So if you notice, the reason why we start every call, irregardless, with successes because we want to show you, recall, hey, what's good in life? What's good? Because what's bad is always apparent. And finding something good in everything, it creates a dynamic for you that's different than just business, right? And I can always tell when I need to start putting more motivational things is when my content engagement goes low. There's kind of like this ebbs and flow. And um, another one, you probably see David do this every now and then. He does it every quarter. He'll go into his Facebook and he'll just say, hey, I'm about to cut off everybody that's not on my vision, on my mission. In fact, I saw a lot of you guys post on his thing. He does that so he can re-kickstart the engagement and get you to say, I'm not looking at anybody else. I'm going to look at you for now on. So he needs to draw back in attention, and that's what you guys need to do too. Everybody right now is starving for attention, right? There's no lack of information. It's the attention gap that we're missing here. And so re-engagement could be something. And by the way, I'll give you guys an AI that you guys can put this information into and you can pop out some good stuff. Okay, so don't worry. We've already trained the AI for you. So, okay. So the content arsenal could be something like this, right? Establishing authority. So pure utility, right? You're just basically like for me, I'm proposing client results. So for an example, help me celebrate Laura, right? I'll say, help me celebrate Diana, who enrolled a new client, made what she made in a year in one client. Help me celebrate Anita. You can say, help me celebrate my client Rick, who saved $50,000 in taxes with one tax strategy. Guess what you do with everybody that likes and comments and even on LinkedIn? You reach out to them and you say, hey, thanks for liking or engaging with my content. Were you just engaging or are you trying to save money on taxes too? Boom, you pop this up. You pop up content for them. And so content creates conversations. Conversations create closing opportunities. The more conversations you can have, I can virtually guarantee the more money you will make. This is a guarantee I can give you. How do I know that? Because we've just done from 0 to 8 figures in 36 months. So I have a little context on how it feels to make some revenue. So the more conversations, you can use the first name Holly. Like for an example, I'll use Holly, but I won't use Holly Corcoran. So just to keep things, I mean, obviously she would see it, but nobody else will, right? So that's a good one, easy one. Um, Driving action. So this is like one of them is just announcing I'm doing something good. The next ones here is direct offer, right? You saw Jay, how can we work together? You see all that engagement. Hey, I saw a new training, right? To get ideal clients who wants a copy, people start engaging. For you guys, you can do something like, hey, I just did a new training to show my client how to save $50,000 in taxes. Who wants it? Boom, I'm engaging people. Who wants to partner together? Hey, do I know any financial advisors that want to help their clients save money on taxes but don't know how to start? Boom, now you're doing the thing that helps drive action. You're engaging these people so that way you can actually turn a number into turning people into, essentially conversations. And when you have these conversations flowing, I heard this said the other day and I really loved it. I really love this thing. Collaboration is the new currency. Collaboration is the new currency. You guys should not be looking at who can compete with me. You should say, who can collaborate with me? Because this game right here that you guys are playing, There's not many people playing this game. And so the more you can collaborate with the small group that you have, the tighter the client trusts you, and you can actually grow your business much faster. Right? This is why I say the collaboration is the currency I heard the other day, because the trust. The more you can collaborate with people, not compete with them, the easier it is for them to trust you. Right? Okay. So um a filter, right? A filter. So you can see here, repelling the wrong people to attract the right person. Okay, so for an example, David posts this on his Facebook every now and then. You can do this on LinkedIn. You can do it on email. Some of you guys do this on email to get rid of bad clients. You do, hey, we're increasing our price. You do a price increase letter. If you haven't, and you want the price, there's a price increase letter sample that we can show you guys if you guys want to do that. So you guys can get more clients to, they want to pay more, great. If they want to head out, that's cool for them too, but you need to free up your time. And so these segmentation posts, these things allow you to um, essentially take off some of the people that are kind of just lingering along and amplify connection. Amplify connection. How many of you guys saw David's post recently where he said, I'm going to start removing people that are not engaging? Did anybody see that? I saw some of you guys in the comments. Yep, me. How many of you guys, there you go, made the cut. So what happens there, right? If you engaged, what that did was he filtered out the wrong people, but he actually amplified the connection with you. What that did psychologically is you're saying, now I'm connected to you more, which is a good thing. You want people more connected to you, not less. Okay. It's a pretty easy thing to use. Okay. So here's the trend behind why content converts like this. Number one, it increases your status. It creates you as a leader in your marketplace. You create more likability between you. Some of you guys, when you guys come down to in-person events, you're like, hey, I saw you were you were at Lake Tahoe last week, or I saw you were at Salt Lake, I saw you were at Park City with your family. Like, you'll come down and tell me that. And I'm like, oh, perfect. They're seeing what I'm doing, right? And the more you can do that, the easier it is for me to say, okay, you trust me. There's proof, there's credibility, there's things there that you can like about me, right? And someday, some of you guys just need to write down who you are, your story. Like, Rick, how many kids do you have? How long, the more likability you have in you, the more you can put yourself out there, Chantel, and just be who you are, the more you're going to attract the type of people you want. The more you're going to attract the people you want, right, Anita? Like, you're very like, hey, this is what it is, and you're in or you're out, right? The more you can just say that, the more people actually respect that, right? The harder it becomes to someone to like refute you because you're just who you are. Okay, so I'll transition here for one thing. Okay, you guys will be able to get the slides after. A growth strategy that most of you guys should use is borrowing influence if you don't have your own. Borrowing influence. I'll give you a perfect example because she's on this call, Diana. So she borrowed influence from another professional, collaboration, and all she does now is she just becomes the tax professional in that marketplace. And what happened? Well, her business grew and she's smiling and she's traveling all over the place doing amazing things for it. The greatest news I can give you is that she didn't have to do all the content, she didn't have to do all the things, because sometimes all you need is to get in the right room. When we first started, okay, and I'll preface by saying that I'll give you guys the slides and also the ChatGPT AI that I trained with this content here, this content machine. So you can just pump in information, say, hey, I want this, and it'll pump out the information that we've already trained it with. But you guys probably don't know this. When David first started the tax strategy thing, watch this. I'll give you the example right here. When we first started the tax strategy thing, this is how David got his influence per se in tax strategy. So what he did was, we've always been an advocate for buying programs, mentorships, masterminds. So what he did was, he didn't know he was doing this, but he did this. Um, he was trying to grow the tax business at that time. So he invested in a coaching program. The coaching program was $40,000 per year. Okay. Let me show you how he borrowed the influence. He went to that coaching program and everyone had to introduce themselves. Now they were from all walks of life, and they were trying to. The purpose of that coaching program was to write a book. There was like 50 people there. All of them paid $40,000 a piece to be there. If you want to be in a qualified room, that's a qualified room. So he went in there, told everybody what he did. Again, back to the I help people save money on taxes thing. He just said that one thing. Guess what? Every single one of the people said, "Hey, so I pay a lot of money in taxes." Boom. Instant credibility, instant authority. He grabbed some of those people. He started working with those people. Those people gave him testimonials. The speaker of that particular thing put him on a stage, and now his brand is what it is now. One one connection could change your life. One borrowed audience could change a life, could change your life. Okay. So don't neglect a lot of the things that there are the opportunities. Just make sure your message is aligned. Make sure when you're posting content, it says about saving strategies. Make sure when you're going to these events, Diana, everything you're branded is strategies oriented, saving money on taxes, not tax preparation, because that information is good, just not for the purpose of helping you save money on taxes. You're getting these high net worth individuals. I'll end with this note right here for a second before I open up for Q&A, because I know we're going a little bit over. BlackRock, who's the $1 trillion company. Does anybody know who BlackRock is? Yeah, we talked about this yesterday, David. So it's just a reminder. So BlackRock is a multi-trillion-dollar assets under management. Yeah, they own everything basically. Okay, so they have an advisory firm. Let me tell you the gap right here in the marketplace where why this content for you guys and why you guys producing content is so important. They have an advisory firm where they have financial advisors, CPAs, tax attorneys, all that stuff. Okay, and they did a survey of these financial advisors, tax advisors, tax strategists, everything. And they said they did a survey of all their wealthy people in BlackRock. Okay, imagine they own everything. They have the wealthiest people on the planet Earth. And they said, what do you want to know more about? 70%, over 70% of the people responded that they want to know more about tax saving. 70%. Okay. Now, if I find the article, I'll drop it in Slack so you guys can reference it. Now, here's the big gap for you guys. Only 17% of their advisors say that they're helping people save money on taxes. Okay. Did anybody be like, the opportunity is there for you? The people are starving for someone to be out there and just say, I can help you. Right? So the content, when I say content, we'll give you the ChatGPT prompt right now. Joe Bentilis, if you can drop the ChatGPT AI that we trained, that'd be good. She'll drop it in there. And then the presentation, we'll give it to you guys in school. But I say this to everyone here to give you this understanding. You guys are perfectly equipped in 2026 right now to go out there and speak life into these people that you can help them save money on taxes. I just spoke to two people yesterday that both pay over $100,000 in taxes, and they were dying to talk to me. I paid a nice little fee to lower my own taxable income, and I did so happily. I was like, oh, here's a couple $1,000s for that thing. So I don't have to pay the IRS. Your people do not want to pay taxes, okay? And it's our job as professionals to go out there and make sure we speak on that behalf, because if you don't, who will? Think about that. If you don't, who will? Now, obviously, there's people out there that are sleazy and salesy, but you guys are a community that you guys. I was talking to the same person that paid a lot of money in taxes, and I said, "What have you done?" He said, "Well, I hired this amazing agency, tax. You guys know who this person is. If I said the name, you would know who they are." And they said they paid 30 plus $1,000 and they never saved a dollar on taxes. Not $1. They played them multiple, 36 plus $1,000, and they said they ended saving $1. And so I say, this community right here, you guys make promises and keep promises. So you guys are the best person to go out there and speak on these things. So I hope today gives you like this light bulb moment. It's like, okay, it doesn't matter what I say or how I say it or what I'm talking about. As long as I'm confirming that I'm doing this thing and those information converts them, you don't have to ask them for money. You just ask them to talk to you. When you talk to them, that's when you turn them into money. Does that make sense for everybody? All right, cool. Was this helpful for you guys?